Welcome back to Simple Human Design. I'm Charlie, and today I want to talk to you all about caffeine and coffee specifically, or anything really that is a substance that you take in and that, really sort of does something quite spectacular with your energy. So, coffee, or I know there's a lot of stuff around with like, certain like mushrooms and stuff like that right now. And I wanted to show you where in your human design body graph it says that maybe you're not quite designed to take in something that will do so much in terms of your energy for you. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because although in the human design system, it's not like a thing that you have a look at. There is a little bit in your chart that we do get taught as human design professionals, but mostly this has come from my own personal understanding of caffeine and also just observing other people and the way that caffeine affects them as well. So, first of all, I want to say that you do you. So if you're listening to this and I say to you, actually, you may want to, because of, the way that your definition is, you may want to hold back on caffeine. And you say to me, no, I don't want to do that. I love my coffee. I don't want to, hold myself back on it. That's okay. You do you. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because a lot of people, when I do say to them, okay, take care of your caffeine intake, a little switch comes on in their head and they're like, you know what? I kind of always thought that, and maybe I should really cut back on my coffee intake. So, I'm going to talk to you about two different areas of the body graph today. One is the sacral center. So, I'm going to take you through what coffee is for you, or like how coffee affects you, according to whether your sacral is defined or undefined. And I'm also going to take you through the root center as well. So here's the sacral center. So in your human design body graph, you'll want to check out whether you have your sacral center defined. So you're a Mani Gen or a Gen. And also, we're going to have a look at the root center as well, this brown square right at the bottom of your body graph. So if you don't have your body graph already, in your head, get it out and see whether you have either one of those defined or not. So let's talk about sacral beings. So if you're a manifesting generator or a generator, if you have, well, you do have your sacral center defined, then caffeine for you may be okay to consume. And really, I would say that it's okay for you to consume just as long as you are getting a really good sleep and you are having an evening routine that really supports your energy type. Now, if you are unaware of what your evening routine should really be as a manifesting generator and a generator, I do have another podcast all about how to really get very good sleep according to human design type. So I'll link that below for you and you can check that out as well. So, sacral beings, you guys are okay with caffeine, but there's something else for you to look at later after I talked about non sacral beings. So, let's talk about projectors, manifestors, and reflectors. So, we do not have our sacral center defined. So, this will be white in your human design body graph. And this is actually where you may need to have a look at your caffeine intake, because from my perspective, the world is our caffeine, right? Because we have an open sacral center or an undefined sacral center. And this essentially means that we are taking in energy from the whole world around us. So, anybody in your life, whether it's your spouse, your children, when you go into work, when you're even co working on a Zoom call, you'll be taking in energy from the sacred beings around you. And to be honest with you, that might be enough to get you, through the day. That might be enough energy. So, if I'm a projector and I don't drink coffee. I do drink caffeine. I have my very light, I think it's Chinese white tea that I've got at the moment, which has a very small amount of caffeine in it. And it's good for you to have like maybe a little bit if that helps you. But when it comes to things that really give you an awful lot of energy, like all in one go, then that is when, it kind of may cause an issue and you may not be able to sleep later on in the day. Now, just to add to this as well, if you are a projector specifically, you may find that you are somebody who is extremely sensitive to anything around you, to anything that you put in you. And, again, this has been created, this understanding has been created from not only my own personal understanding of how things affect me, but also just talking to other projectors and how incredibly sensitive they are to substances like this. So just a little bit of like a potential help or support with you there. If you're a non-sacral being, maybe cut back on the coffee or the caffeine entirely, because you will find that you'll probably sleep better, because you are taking in that sacral energy throughout the day, and you can just, release it and make sure that nothing else unnatural is coming into your body. Now, I also told you that I was going to be talking about the root center. So regardless of whether you have your sacral center defined or not, we also want to have a look at the root center as well. Now, if you have your root center defined, again, you might find that caffeine intake is absolutely okay with you, because the root center is giving you a consistent way of dealing with stress and pressure, and therefore caffeine isn't going to send you off the rails too much. So, according to your design, it might be that actually you might be okay with caffeine. I have a friend who is a projector, so undefined sacral but defined root, and she is okay on caffeine, but I'm not, and I have a defined root as well. So really taking some stock here around whether for you personally caffeine is any good or not. Now, if you have your root center undefined, then this is where you may find, even as a sacral being, you may find that caffeine is not going to be good for you. And the reason being is that, again, you are taking in energy from other people around you, except the type of energy that you're bringing in is all to do with stress and pressure, and physical pressure as well. So when you're taking that in, just like how non-sacral beings take sacral in, you're taking it in, you're amplifying it, and actually that's probably enough energy for you. And you probably don't need caffeine or any other substances to really sort of like get you going there. So I hope you have got a good understanding of your own body graph and whether you should or should not. Well, I shouldn't say should, whether you might want to experiment with your caffeine intake according to whether you've got these things defined or undefined. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if in doubt, but you're kind of feeling, because you were drawn towards this video, that maybe you shouldn't drink caffeine, maybe that caffeine isn't very good for you, I would listen to that intuition. And, throughout this video or this podcast you're listening to, you may have had a couple of insights of, I think maybe I should cut down on my caffeine, or it might be a nudge, it might be intuition, you might want to talk it out. Whatever it is, just consider that caffeine may not be particularly good for you. But like I said, there's plenty of people in the world that are okay with caffeine. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Simple Human Design. I'm Charlie, and I will see you next time. In the meantime, you can watch my sleep episode to see how you can get better sleep in your day-to-day life.